Hey friends, so welcome to Language. It's Thursday morning and I want us to review sentences and sentence fragments. Let's review for just a moment. A sentence is a complete thought. It has a noun and a verb, a subject and a verb, sorry. And also we've discussed that a sentence fragment is an incomplete thought. So it may have a subject but not a verb, or it may have a verb but no subject. We're going to add to that list, okay? So another thing that we need for a sentence to be complete is it needs to begin with a capital letter, and it also needs to have a period at the end because it's a sentence, not a question, a sentence. So it needs a capital letter and also a period at the end. All right, so let's look at the two sentences that I have on the board. The first sentence is, Sam brought his lunch to school. I see a problem with that sentence. What is the first problem that you see? If you noticed that the S in Sam is not capitalized, you are correct. So what we're going to do is erase the S, and we are going to capitalize it, okay? The next thing that I noticed, Sam brought. I do a lot of reading, and B-R-O-T just doesn't look right to me. Brought is kind of a long word. So I have resources. You all have a device at home. You're watching this on a device, or you may have a dictionary, or you may be lucky enough to have both. So I would like for you to look up brought. Sam brought his lunch to school. And let's see if we can figure out if that's the correct spelling of that word. If you said no, you are correct. Brought is spelled, so I'm going to mark through it, and the correct spelling of brought, let's erase it, is B-R-O-U-G-H-T, brought. And I will tell you guys, I sometimes will be reading something and I'll think, I don't know if that looks right or not. And sometimes I look it up and it is spelled correctly. So it doesn't always, but if you're in doubt, you should always check it out. So Sam brought his lunch to school. The rest of those words look like they're spelled correctly to me. How about you? Very good. Okay, so is that a complete thought? Sam brought his lunch to school. What's the subject? You're right, Sam. Sam is who the sentence is about. And what did Sam do? He brought his lunch. So that it is a complete thought. But I still see one problem with that sentence. Do you know what it is? If you said that it's missing a period at the end, you are correct. So now let's read our correct sentence. Sam brought his lunch to school. It begins with a capital letter, it ends with a period, and it is a complete thought. Great job. Let's move on to the next sentence. Played with his friends. I want to caution you here because when you immediately look at that sentence, it looks perfect. It begins with a capital letter and it ends with a period. But we're too smart for that, right? Played with his friends is not a complete thought. We know what the subject did, but we don't know who the subject is, right? This is what I love about writing. We don't have a subject, so guess what? We get to make up our own. So before we get to do that though, I want us to change this capitalized P should be lowercase because it is not the beginning of the sentence. So, who played with his friends? If you were here with me, think about what you would put as your subject, okay? I'm going to write John. John played with his friends. Is that a complete thought? You're right. It begins with a capital letter, it ends with a period, and it is a complete thought. Good job.